Hello there, everybody. This is kind of part two of our law of signs concept, finding missing parts in triangles. Let's just start in with some examples here. So we've got some information about a triangle ABC. We know that the measure of angle A is 40 degrees. We know that side A is 5, and the side and the angle, remember, with the same, or lowercase and the uppercase are opposite one another. Whoops, don't want to put an A there, I want to put a 5. It says C is 7, we'll put that there. That makes this big C and this big B. And we want to find the measure of angle C. So I'm going to put a little X right there. Okay, so since we have two sides and two angles, this is a law of signs problem. So we'll set it up just like we do the law of signs. X and 7 are opposite one another, so sine of x over 7 equals the sine of 40 degrees over 5. And if you, we want to solve this for sine x. And you can do that by multiplying both sides by 7. So these 7s will cancel. And we get sine x equals, and then we get sine of 40 times 7 divided by 5. So let's figure that out. Make sure I'm in the right mode. Degree mode, there we go. So let's see here. Sine of 40. There's sine of 40. I want to multiply by 7 and divide by 5. And we get 0.8999. 0.8999 and some more digits. Now, just like we were when we were doing SOHCAHTOA, in order to undo sine, because we want to solve for x, we got to undo sine. In order to undo sine, you've got to do the inverse sine. So x is the inverse sine of 0.8999 in all those numbers, which is about, let's see here, I want to do inverse sine. Now I want to use all those digits there. I don't want to just use the first few. I mean, you can push 0.899902653 or the first couple. The more you use, the more accurate your answer will be. And you can use them all by using that ANS button in your calculator. Looks like that. Most calculators have it. If you don't know where it is on your calculator, ask a classmate or ask me and I'll show you how to do it. But using that ANS button, we'll use all those digits. And it'll give us about 64.1 degrees. 64.1 degrees. And at face value, it looks like we've got an answer. And in fact, we do. However, in this particular case, there's actually two possible answers. There is another triangle. Oops, let me draw that a little better. There's another triangle with a side that is 7, an angle that is 40 degrees, and another side that is 5. There's another angle right there. And if I were going to draw it inside of this triangle, I could imagine this side that's 5, you're able to kind of swivel along this point, or around this point B up here. You're allowed to move it around. You would find that there's another triangle, or it meets up with this side down here again, down here. So there is another answer for possible answer here for x. Sometimes when you're finding a missing angle using law of signs, there's more than one answer. Now sometimes there's only one answer, and sometimes there are no answers. And I'll show you in a minute how to determine what that is here. So the question is now is, if this has a second answer, what the heck is it? Well, if this is 5, that means this is 5 over here. And if these two sides are the same, that means these two angles are the same. That means this angle right here is also x. Actually, I shouldn't use this x over here. I'm going to use a y because it's a different angle. That means this angle right here is 64.1. This angle is the other angle in the triangle. And you notice that these two angles add up to 180. So the other possibility, the other possible answer here is 180 minus the answer we just got, which is about 115.9 degrees. So there are two answers. Okay, so how do we know that there are two answers and that both of these answers are in fact correct? Well, now 40 is opposite 5. So now 7 is bigger than 5. Well, okay, so x and 7 are opposite one another too, right? X is opposite 7, 40 is opposite 5. Now, 5 is smaller than 7. We all get that. 5 is less than 7. So that means the opposite, or the angle that's opposite that smaller side should be smaller than this angle that's opposite the bigger one. That means 40 should be smaller than x. X should be bigger than 40. And both of these angles, in fact, are bigger than 40. So again, that is a clue that there are two solutions here, that both of those, in fact, do work. Another way to check it is to simply, you know the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. You can check it that way as well. If you get an angle for y that's bigger than 140, you know it's wrong. Because 140 plus 40 would be 180, and you wouldn't have any degrees left for this angle up here. So that's another way to check your answer. And let's take a look at another example here and see what happens. Okay, so 41 and 17. Sine of 41 degrees over 17. Sine of x over 15. Okay, so we want to solve for the sine of x, so we're going to multiply both sides by 15. We get sine x equals, let's pull out our handy calculator. Let's see, 15 times the sine of 41 degrees, and we want to divide that by 17. So 15 times the sine of 41 divided by 17. And that gives us 0.5788. 0.5788. And some more digits. So that means x is going to be, it's going to equal the inverse sine of all that. Let's bring that back. Second sine, second. We're going to use that answer button again to get all those digits. We get 35.37, 35.4, let's call it. 35.4 degrees. Now, we just saw a second ago so we got 35.4 here. Now, does that make sense? Well, 17 is bigger than 15. That means the angle opposite the 17 should be bigger than the angle opposite the 15. And 41 is bigger than 35.4. So that answer, in fact, does make sense. Now, if there's another answer, like we saw up here, you just do 180 minus this one to get the other answer. So our other answer, I'm going to call it y. If there is one, you know what? Let's write it up here. If there is another answer, we should get 180 minus or that answer is going to be 180 minus 35.4, which is 144.6 degrees. Now, is that a possible answer? Could this be 144.6? Now, remember what we said. 17 is bigger than 15. So the angle opposite the 17 should be bigger than the angle opposite this one. So this one can't be 144.6 because 44 isn't bigger than 41 isn't bigger than 144.6. So this is not an answer. And here there is just one solution. So check it. Make sure that it agrees with that bigger and smaller side stuff we were just talking about. Let's take a look at another example. Again, setup is the same. Sine of x over 6 equals sine of 58 over 2. Multiply both sides by 6 to get the sine of x by itself. Let's plug this into our handy calculator. We're going to do 6 times the sine of 58, and we're going to divide that by 2. Uh-oh. No 2. Oh, I did inverse sine. Sine 6 times the sine of 58 divided by 2, and I get 2.544. And some more, so that means x, well, actually let's put equals the inverse sine of 2.544 and some more digits. Bring our calculator back. Inverse sine of all those digits. And the calculator says, uh-oh, it says error. You can't do it. So what does that mean? That means there is no solution. There is no such triangle such that we have a side that's 2 here, a side that's 6 here, and an angle that's 58 degrees. It just doesn't work. And in fact, if we were to draw this to scale, what we would find is, or a little closer to scale anyway, we would see this side up here is 2. And if we allowed that side to kind of swivel around, no matter where we put it, it would never meet up with this side. So that's why there is no solution here, because there's no such triangle with sides of 2 and 6 and a non-included angle that's 58. Okay, so let's summarize here. Sometimes 2 solutions. Sometimes 1, sometimes none. No solution when your calculator tells you that there is an error, that there is something wrong. Your calculator will tell you when it's this situation here. If there are 2 solutions, whatever you get for one of them, for one of the solutions, you take it away from 180, that gives you the second solution. But you've got to check them. Okay? Make sure that if our angle x needed to be bigger than 40 degrees because it was opposite a bigger side, make sure that both of your solutions are bigger than 40 in this case. Or here, our answer had to be smaller than 41. One of our answers wasn't smaller than 41, so we knew it couldn't be it. That's how you know when there's just one solution. And then, like I said, the no solution ones, your calculator tells you. Hope this makes sense. Good luck on the problem solving. See you in class. Bye.